Hello, very good afternoon. One of two coronavirus variants discovered in Brazil has been detected in the UK, according to a leading scientist. Professor Wendy Barclay, who is head of a new project to study the effect of emerging mutations, says the variant was probably introduced some time ago. Just in the last hour, I've been talking to our health correspondent, Michelle Roberts, who has been hearing from Professor Barclay and the group which advises the government.
They've been looking to see what's happening with these new variants, and she says there is evidence that the Brazil strain, one of them, is the Brazil variant that people are worried about, has actually been found in the UK already. Obviously, it's a bit like the South African one, so it's not become dominant here. The one that we're seeing in the UK is still the new variant of coronavirus that we've seen in Kent, moving to London and elsewhere in the UK. But it is something they want to keep a close monitor on and see what's happening, because the changes that the virus is undergoing seem to be in a part of the virus that helps it get into cells. And the concern is that we need to check that the vaccines that we currently have work just as well. There's no suggestion yet that they won't, but that's something that they want to check, that the immune system can still fight off this virus.
Yes, of course, so they need to monitor that. So to be clear, there are two variants, I think, in Brazil, and the health authorities in the UK are saying that they know that one of them is already in the UK.
That's right.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is when someone is tested for COVID, or if they test positive for COVID, they're not told which variant they have, are they? I mean, to what extent can they... I'm curious, I guess, about how they manage to monitor now that we're talking about so many different variants.
So the UK is world leading in this, along with other experts in different countries. It is looking at what variants are out there, closely monitoring. If you were tested for coronavirus, you wouldn't be told which type of variant you have, but scientists are looking at the data. They are analysing the sequence of the virus to know exactly where it fits in the family tree, if you like, whether it's the wild type that we first got or how far away it's mutated from that. And then there's a new group of scientists today which have been set up, which are looking at then growing things in the lab to study them further to see how they behave. So we've got the sequencing, now it's checking what's happening. Are they spread more easily? Do the vaccines work? Somebody who's had the infection before, would their natural immunity still fight off the new variants? All of these are big questions. There's no massive concern, but they are checking to answer all of these questions.
Yes. Our health reporter, Michelle Roberts there. Well, concern about the new Brazil variant has led to a ban on flights from South America to the UK. That came into force today. The ban also affects Portugal and Cape Verde, as Theo Leggett now reports.
In a huge graveyard near Sao Paulo, the latest victims of the COVID pandemic are being buried. The virus has swept through Brazil, leaving more than 200,000 dead. Now, a new variant has emerged, which it's feared could prove significantly more infectious than the original version. The British government wants to prevent it arriving here, and so it's announced a new wave of travel restrictions. From this morning, travellers from 13 South American countries, including Brazil, Argentina and Chile, will be banned from entering the UK. The ban also applies to Portugal, which has strong travel links with Brazil, as well as the islands of the Azores, but lorry drivers from Portugal will be allowed in. The islands of Cape Verde off the coast of West Africa are included in the ban as well. The new restrictions do not apply to British citizens or residents.
There aren't that many flights going on. Brits will still need to repatriate, so it's not that nobody would be able to come in up until now, but of course everybody that's come here will have had to, by law, quarantine themselves for 10 days. We don't want to trip up at this late stage. We're so close now, but we want to make sure we do absolutely everything possible to give us the best chance of beating this virus, which is why it's so important that we do act quickly on these things.